What's up, everyone? I'm here with another self-defense analysis, and today I'm going to be discussing um, robberies and compliance. Now, you hear a lot of schools talk about how um, they talk about how you should always give up your valuables and never fight back. It's not worth your life. And while that's true, and you generally should, it doesn't always work in self-defense. Sometimes you need to fight back, um, because if you don't, you're gonna die anyways. So um, you have to think think about the type of situation that you're in and respond accordingly. So I'm gonna go over with a few scenarios where that compliance did not work. So here we have a case of a guy in St. Louis who gave up his valuables and was shot anyways. It says here, a St. Louis robbery victim is expected to survive after he complied with the gunman's order to hand over the money but was shot anyways. Um, St. Louis Dispatch reports that a 34-year-old victim was shot in the arm and leg. Um, Police say the victim was in his car, stopped at an intersection near Marquette Park. I don't know how to pronounce that. When when a man walked up and asked for a lighter, another man walked to the passenger side door, pulled a gun, and demanded cash. Police say the victim gave up the money to the man at the driver's door, but the gunman shot him. Um, On to the next case. Police say it may be more advisable to submit than to resist and risk severe injury or death. You will have to make this decision based on the circumstances, but don't resist if the attacker has a weapon. Um, Here we have a case where two hitchhikers from Northern Carolina apparently followed um, the advice when they came up with an armed robber. Two men aged 69 and 76 cooperated with their attacker and handed over all their money and their valuables. Both were shot and left for dead on the trail. And it happened to another hiker. Uh, One died, and the other is expected to survive. So, um, here's the next case. 19-year-old Brooklyn youth led a teenage stick-up team on a string of robberies at small stores in Brooklyn, killing three shop owners, apparently without provocation after they had already handed over their money. In one case, the five suspects who were arrested in the last 2 weeks forced a grocer in Bedford uh, to can't pronounce that word to kneel before shooting him in the back. In another, they slammed a butcher against the wall as he was closing up shop, then shot him. They opened fire uh, on another grocery owner when he balked, handing over $400. Um, they said what was shocking about this was that the robber killed even if they met no resistance. Um, so there you can see how 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 deadly that situation was. Next case: 3 people, including a teenage woman, were shot by a robber even after complying with his demands. The victims were on the sidewalk on the 2700 block of South May Street when 2 people, one of whom had a gun, walked up to them and demanded they hand over their belongings. 3 victims gave the robbers what they had, and the robber with a gun fired shots at them. 18-year-old woman was hit in her right ankle, and 38-year-old man was hit in his stomach. They were taken to Advocate Christ Medical Center where their conditions were not available, but they listed as stable. Um, so yeah, you can see right there that compliance did not work, and you have to be aware of that. You have to um, assess the situation because criminals don't think like you do. I mean, your life is worthless to some, um, because they're only thinking about the valuables, some other reasons behind, uh, you know, besides you, and so this assumption that they're gonna let you go after you give them their belongings is not always true. Um, because you have to put yourself in the mindset of a criminal. Think, um, if I were a criminal, would I want this person to then testify against me in court? That's how some criminals think. If you if you sometimes they're just looking for reason to kill somebody. If you um, if you think about their mindset and and covering their tracks, they're gonna do whatever is necessary to make sure that they don't end up in jail. Um, so it's not as clear cut as people make it out to be. You have to think about um, when is the right time to comply and when it's not the right time to comply. And sometimes you have to fight depending on the situation and to survive. So those are my thoughts. Um, and also, like, one of my friends, he was jumped by a bunch of people who ambushed him um, in an apartment complex. So there's no way to defuse or comply in that particular situation. So those are just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and subscribe to my blog, like my channel, subscribe to my channel as well, and feel free to offer any donations if you so choose in the link below. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you next week.